So this is my reflection about continuing to work on some of my CAS project. So this is basically a reflection of the last couple of times I've done it, because I've been not very good at updating my process journal about it, because it's been, or not good at reflecting on it every single time, because the problem is that when I do it, I don't say, okay, I'm going to spend a good hour working on this. It's, okay, I have 30 minutes here, I'll spend 30 minutes working on a plan, and then I just go on to do something else, which is, I really need to be better at it, but this is sometimes just how my brain works. I'm not very good at, I'm usually very good at remembering things, but this time I just forgot. So I think I now have enough time to do it's basically what I've been doing, so I've been working on the plan. So far, when I last made a reflection, I think I was up to finishing up the first activity and maybe half of the second station. So on the second station, I have officially decided that we will be doing, that firstly they're going to do 2 matching games. So the first matching game is going to be, bugs, bites, stings, and their causes. So, basically the animal that causes them. Where this animal typically lives or stings. So mosquitoes, that would be very humid environments. And what you should do about them. So that basically covers the part that we're supposed to do about, combis and stings, what you do about them, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. It's like 9 p.m. And then after that, their next job. And then they have one which is going to come 1-2, because that's something that we're told to do, and I think that's also kind of important for them to learn, is when do you call the emergency services, because sometimes that isn't exactly the most clear thing. Yes, and that's then step number 2. Sorry. So tired. And then what the leader of that part, Duncan, is going to do is he's going to then teach them the Heimlich and the recovery position, because both of those are really important. Like, it's really important for somebody to know how to do the Heimlich, because when something like that happens, you'd prefer that someone knows how to do it. Like, I've almost had to do it in myself. Or there have been situations where I've had several times where I have felt like I was choking, but I wasn't, and I was fine. But I think it's just a really important skill for you to have, and also recovery position, it's important to know what to do with somebody who's throwing up or unconscious, to make sure that they don't, their condition doesn't get worse, because it's not impossible that these kids are going to be dealing with drunk people. And it's not impossible that they're going to deal with somebody who feels sick, and it's important that they know exactly what to do when it happens. Because again, I would rather deal with a nightmare scenario now than not having them have dealt with it in, 5 years' time. Because these little skills, like, even if one of them remembers how to do the recovery position, that's still important. It's a really important, sorry, I'm going off on a tangent now. Basically, I'm trying to teach them these skills because I think, health and safety is something that people know dangerously little about. Like, my grandma told me the story of, one of the requirements to get this badge is to know what to do about burns. Loads of people don't know. Loads of people don't know how to cook, how to chop stuff. It's important that they learn them. That's the second meeting, but my grandma said that there were a load of kids who were in Scouts, who were in Brownies, which is the Girl Guides version of which is the younger Girl Guides group. Said they came up to her and were like, or they mentioned something about using butter on burns, and this was about 2 years ago, which you should under no condition do. And my grandma was a nurse, so she knows this. Yeah. So they're dealing with stuff like that. And I've also worked on my part of the meeting, which is agreements around being outside together and being away together. For instance, lots of them are stuff like, being aware and being safe around, like when we're going on trains, this happens a lot. We've had instances where people, aren't clocked into the situation, so they're not paying attention to what or who they need to be paying attention to in order to be a good scout in this situation. So basically that's what we work, for that bit it's mainly, our group agreements when we're inside the hut and around, and the idea for that is to make it kind of like a game, like hide all of the papers around and then have them run around and try and find all the different papers. And then they have one person that's looking for stuff you shouldn't do, and the rest of them are looking for stuff you should do, or whichever has the majority, something like that. And then they have to try and race and find them first. And the idea is to get the most and learn the most. So, thank you.